Hello, Algebra 2 Part 1. This is the second day of 571, so some more solving by factoring. So we're just going to get into some more practice of this. So remember, the goal is to get everything on one side of the equal sign, get it set equal to 0, and then factor and set your separate factors equal to 0 and solve each one of those. So we'll jump into the classwork. For number 1, we have 25x squared equals 4. So I'm going to subtract 4 from each side, and I get 25x squared minus 4 is 0. Now this, we've got two terms, both of them are a perfect square, so this is the difference of two perfect squares. So when we factor this, we'll have two sets of parentheses. They'll be exactly the same. One will be a plus and one will be a minus. And what we'll have inside the parentheses will be the square roots of these two terms right here, right? So the square root of 25x squared is 5x, and then the square root of 4 is 2. So I have 5x plus 2 and 5x minus 2. And then I can separate these. I have 5x plus 2 is 0, and 5x minus 2 is 0. Okay, and solve each of these. So minus 2, 5x is negative 2. Divide by 5, and my first solution, x, is negative 2 over 5. For the next piece, I will add 2, so then I get 5x is 2, divide by 5, and x is a positive 2/5. Okay, so my two solutions for number 1 from the classwork are x equals negative 2/5 and x equals a positive 2/5. Alright, so going on to number 2. For number 2, we have z squared plus 6z, excuse me, minus 9 is 6z. So we want to get this set equal to 0. So we're going to minus 6z from both sides. And so then we'll get z squared, well, 6z minus 6z, that goes to 0. So that's going to disappear. And we just have a minus 9 and 0. Now this is another difference of two perfect squares. So again, we'll have two sets of parentheses, set it equal to 0. One's plus, one's minus. Excuse me. Alright, the square root of z squared is z. And the square root of 9 will have 3 and 3. So we can separate these, and we'll have z plus 3 is 0. And then z minus 3 is 0. And then solving each of these, we subtract 3, z is negative 3, add 3, and z is a positive 3. So our two solutions are positive and negative 3. Alright, going on to number 3. For number 3, we have x squared minus 12 is x. So we're going to get this set equal to 0. So I'm going to subtract x from both sides, and I'll get x squared minus x minus 12 is 0. Okay, so now this is something that I can factor with first and last. So first is 1, last is negative 12, and then in the middle I have negative 1. So my two factors of 1 are 1 and 1. Two factors of negative 12. Let's do a negative 4 and a positive 3. So if we cross multiply, 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. Add those up, and negative 4 plus 3 is a negative 1. So 1 and negative 4 are going to be a pair, and that will make the factor 1x minus 4. And then 1 and 3 are a pair, and that will make the factor 1x plus 3, and that's all equal to 0. So we can take these factors, separate them, set them equal to 0, and solve. Okay, so on the left we will add 4, and we'll get x equals 4. And then on the right we'll subtract 3, and we'll get x equals negative 3. So our two solutions are going to be 4 and negative 3. Alright, so going on to number 4 from the classwork, we have x squared is 2x plus 15. Okay, so I want to bring everything over to the other side. So it would be nice to keep that x squared positive. So what I'll do is I'll subtract 2x and I'll subtract 15 from both sides. So that'll give me x squared minus 2x minus 15 is 0. So then I can factor this with first and last. First is 1, last is negative 15, and then in the middle we have negative 2. So our two factors of 1 are 1 and 1. Our two factors of negative 15 we'll have a negative 5 and a positive 3. If we cross, 1 times 3 is 3, and 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. If we add those up, negative 5 plus 3 is going to give us a negative 2. Okay? So 1 and negative 5 make a pair, so that'll be 1x minus 5, and then 1 and 3 make a pair, so that will be 1x plus 3, and then all of that is 0. So separate these. I have x minus 5 is 0, and then x plus 3 is 0, and solve both of these. Add 5, x equals positive 5, minus 3, x equals negative 3. So our two solutions for number 4 are going to be 5 and negative 3. Alright, let's go on to number 5. So for number 5, I have x cubed plus 3x squared plus 2x, 0. Okay, so right off the bat I can see that this is going to start off by factoring out a GCF. So if we look at all of these terms, they all contain an x. So I'll have a GCF of x. If I pull that out, I'll be left with x squared plus 3x plus 2, and this all equals 0. So then we can factor this with first and last. So first is 1, last is 2, and then in the middle we have 3. So my factors of 1 are 1 and 1. My factors of 2 are 1 and 2. If we cross multiply, 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 1 is 1. Add those up, and we get 3. So we're going to hold on to our GCF of x, right? We don't want to lose that. We'll carry that down. Make sure you hold on to that. Put that in green. And then, so 1 and 1 right here, that's going to make the factor 1x plus 1. And then this 1 and 2 right here is going to make the factor 1x plus 2. And all of this is set equal to 0. Okay, so we have an extra x out here because we pulled that out as a GCF up here, and we need to hold on to that. That is a factor that's going to be included in all of this. So what we have now is we have 3 factors that we have to separate, and each one has to be set equal to 0. So I'll have this lonely x is 0, and then I'll have x plus 1 is set equal to 0, and then I'll have x plus 2 is set equal to 0, right? So all 3 of them, even this x out in front, gets separated and set equal to 0. So x equals 0, that one's already all set. We don't have to do anything else with that. And then this x plus 1 equals 0. Subtract 1, x is negative 1. And then over here I'll subtract 2, and x is negative 2. So my 3 solutions, x equals 0, x equals negative 1, and x equals negative 2. And we're all set. Alright, number 6 has a lot going on, so we'll get a fresh piece of paper for this. So, for number 6, we have 4x squared plus 8x minus 26 is x plus 3 times x minus 2, and I don't know why I wrote that. That was a mistake. Okay, so, first thing is we've got to get everything on one side, get it set equal to 0. So, what we've got to do on the left side is FOIL that out. So if I FOIL out my x plus 3 and my x minus 2, okay? Multiplying my first, x times x is x squared. My outers, x times negative 2 is negative 2x. My inners, 3 times x, that's positive 3x. And then my last, 3 times negative 2 is negative 6, right? And then I can combine like terms. So negative 2x plus 3x is going to give me a positive x, and then I have minus 6, right? And then on the other side, I have 4x squared plus 8x minus 26. So what I want to do is I want to take everything on the right side and put it all on the left side, and that'll make the right side turn to 0. The reason why I'm moving everything from the right over to the left is because then I'll still have a positive x squared term, which will be nice and easy to work with. So, minus x squared, minus x squared, minus x plus 6 plus 6. So that'll give me 3x squared, and 8x minus 1x is 7x, and then negative 26 plus 6, that's going to be a negative 20, and that all equals 0. So now we can factor this and solve this with first and last. So first is 3, last is negative 20, and then in the middle we have 7. So I'll have 1 and 3. I need two factors of negative 20. Let's see. 4 and 5. Let's do a 4 and a 5. And let's see. We want a negative 20, so one of them's going to have to be negative, and we have to end up with a positive 7. So we're going to make the 5 negative. So if we cross multiply, we can do 1 times negative 5, which gives us a negative 5. 3 times 4 is a positive 12. We add that up. 12 plus a negative 5, or 12 minus 5, is positive 7. So that works out. So then, my first factor, well, 1 and 4, those will go together as a pair. So that will be 1x plus 4. And then 3 and negative 5, those will go together as a pair. And that will be 3x minus 5. And that'll equal 0. So separate these. I'll have x plus 4 is 0. And 3x minus 5 is 0. I solve each of these. Minus 4, x is negative 4. Add 5, 3x is 5. Divide by 3. And then x is 5/3. So our two solutions are negative 4 and 5/3. So that's it for the classwork. So I hope you know enough to try the homework on your own. And we're all done with 571.